Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, mom and sister.
Hello.
Thank you.
To My Mama Done Told Me. This is a podcast where we sit here and we talk about the most random things in the world. And
Yes,
usually
we
we
do.
get into
Fights. No.
I don't think we fight.
Check out our last episode where Lauren and I get into a fist fight. We finally got her out of the hospital, and
I'm good as new.
I have some
Charges pressed against him.
If you see my ankle monitor, that'll
He's
get
got
people
a
to tune
fancy
in.
new-
Holy
They
what?
might gotta go look at
He's
that.
got a
last-
fancy new ankle bracelet.
Ankle bracelet here, yeah. Speaking of ankle bracelets, let's talk about crime. Bum, bum. I'm going to put
Why
like
are
a...
you so
Well,
trepidatious?
who wants to talk
Here's
about
the thing, Mom.
criminal things you might have done?
I feel like you don't like our topics.
I like
Lately.
the topics. I think sometimes there are topics that, like, I might not want to share with you, or you might not want to share with me. I mean, I'm your mom.
I know you are.
Okay, cool.
But what am I?
fine.
You're my son.
I didn't get caught.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Neither did I, but it doesn't make it.
So you're going
Thank
first.
goodness we didn't. I'm not giving any details of anything.
You have to. That's the
No, I
point of
don't
the show.
have to give details. I'm not going to.
Yeah, the what's the
What did you do? Kidnap a child? Jeez
No,
Louise.
no.
what's the statute of limitations on
I don't know. Whatever you did.
Oh,
depends on what you did, I guess.
I'll tell you what I did. But
Okay,
I'm not gonna
hold
give a
on.
lot
So
of
here's
details.
what we're talking about today, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about crime. This is episode number 22
Wow.
of MMDTM.
MMDTM.
My mama did told me. My mama did told me. My mama did tell me.
If anybody isn't watching on YouTube, you definitely should, because you can see his jowls moving around.
That's when I knew I was reaching like adult age. When
When
we
you
do
had-
this and it starts, and I can feel it in my jowls. I'm like, oh, I'm an adult.
Weird.
Okay. Have you ever committed or come close to committing a crime?
Creme.
A crime?
Creme de la creme.
Have you ever committed or come close to committing the cream of the crop?
The creme of the creme.
That's a really big snort, Lauren.
Whatever.
Snort, Lauren.
It's fine.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Oh, it was definitely me.
Not everybody's
I wasn't
watching.
trying
They're
to
hearing
hide
anything.
it.
Is Kathy snorting? No, she's not.
All right, Mom, you're going first. Let's talk about your crimes.
What have you done?
Okay, so crimes. Hold on, before you
Crimes.
start. We've all gone a little over the speed limit.
Oh yeah,
Let's be real.
I didn't even think of that.
Honest.
You know what I mean? We've all done things that are probably
Kind of run a red
technically
light,
right.
maybe,
That,
almost.
You know, if it comes to traffic laws, or you know, did I wait a little too long to renew my registration, or you
That's
know,
not really a crime, though,
well,
is it?
I don't know.
I don't
mean,
think
it's
that's
not,
considered a
it's
crime.
not lawful. You can get
Right.
fines
It's
for it.
illegal.
Well, that's a crime then.
Is it?
Yeah, if you can get a fine.
You're a criminal if you.
If it's a law
You don't
to do
pay
it at
your-
a certain date and you don't do it, then you've
suppose.
committed a crime, I guess.
Technically, yeah.
But
we're
is
ta-
it punishable by anything other than
fines,
a fine?
and then if you don't pay your fines and you go to court, and if you don't go to court, you can get, I don't know.
Then you go to jail,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe. But we're talking more about like,
Crime.
yeah. And I have a feeling that
Like
some of
getting
it.
put in the clink.
Have either of you ever been put in a holding
No.
cell?
No, I think I'd die.
I wouldn't
die.
die.
I would
However,
be
I would
so
not
scared.
be happy about it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I would be so
No,
scared.
I mean,
No, I've never.
me neither.
I've never been arrested.
Unrested.
Unrest.
I haven't either. Which
I've
is
never
good.
been put in handcuffs.
No.
I've never. I mean, other than like as a child, you know, when you had those. The
Like the
the
plastic
little
ones?
plastic
Yeah.
ones
Yeah.
or whatever. Like I've never actually been in handcuffs
No.
or anything.
Me
Have you ever
either.
been in a police car?
Yes. After an accident.
I don't think I've ever been in a police car. I
I
can't
have,
remember.
but I sat in the front seat.
Oh yeah,
I
I was
went
in
on
the back,
ride-alongs.
but it was
you went on a
it was
ride-along.
like to write up an accident report or something, so I wasn't standing on the side of the road.
Yeah.
I wasn't in trouble or anything.
Very uncomfortable in the back.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No.
It's not a fun place to be.
Yeah.
And you can't get out.
It's plastic seats.
Gosh.
Usually. Okay,
Yeah.
Ma, let's talk about your crimes you're willing to confess.
Okay, so I have to lay a little bit of.
Do it.
Yep.
Okay, so. Okay, everybody knows I grew up in a very dysfunctional home.
Okay.
And my parents are gone now. I didn't live with my dad, but I lived with my mom and my stepdad. And my stepfather in my teen years was a bookie, and he ran book for all over the city, and
For what kind of things?
football games.
Okay.
I think it was only football games.
Okay.
Okay, so so anyway, he also owned a drinking establishment, a bar in a mall.
I remember that.
Okay,
Hold
so
on, there were bars and malls?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember being in that.
oh yeah, I'm not going to
Really?
say the name of anything
that's fine.
because I mean this was so anyway, it's not there anymore. And
Obviously not. I don't even
the
think the
mall
whole
isn't even
mall
there
isn't
anymore.
there anymore.
No,
If
the mall's
that's-
not even
if
there.
you live in
Okay.
Omaha, you'll know which
They're probably
mall
going to
we're
know
talking
where
about.
it is. But anyway, they used to have madness on the mall all the time, and the outside on the mall, and at night when the shops would close, they just left all that stuff out in the middle of the mall. They locked the doors; nobody could get in, but my stepdad could, and he supplied Christmas.
What's madness in the malls?
It was they would put they would put all the merchandise that they had on sale.
It was like a
in the
sidewalk
mall.
sale.
It was like a sidewalk sale, a huge sidewalk sale. So, there's all these coats and all these clothes and all the shoes, and there was toys, and my stepdad supplied Christmas by just going out there and taking whatever he
and there's
wanted.
no security cameras.
Right.
Right.
My
Because this was
mom,
probably what year do you think?
70s,
60s.
60s.
Okay.
In the 1960s. And I remember him bringing that stuff home, and mom wrapped it all up for Christmas gifts, and that's what the boys got, and that's I was like, oh my
So
gosh,
weird.
I know.
Wow.
So it was very common for me to see things like that happen, and then in the 70s and 70s, then when in my 20s, and I'd go home. One time I went home, and there was like a whole room full of little TVs. They were big then, but they were little,
Sure.
the little ones.
Yeah.
And where'd you get these? Oh, my brother stole them from the school. Well, what are you going to do with them? Sell them. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, that makes sense.
I knew that
duh.
was wrong,
Yeah.
And then she had these little trays that were very cool on her TV trays. She'd eat in front of the TV.
Who, your
and
mom?
My mom.
Okay.
And there were like sections in them, looked
Yeah.
like cafeteria trays.
Yeah.
Those are cool. Where'd you get those? The kids stole them from school. Are you going to make them take them back? No, I like them. Okay. So that's kind
Wow.
of what you have to understand.
Sure.
This is how my life was. So when I was a teenager, and it's stupid.
Nobody's
It's just
gonna judge you,
shoplifting.
Mom.
I know.
Nobody's
It was
gonna judge you.
shoplifting.
Yeah.
And it was basically just a little bottle of this blue hair conditioner that I couldn't afford. It was really good hair conditioner. And I couldn't afford to buy it, so I stole it. So that's one of my crimes. The other one I have to be really vague about, and it was vandalism. So I don't want to be specific on this one.
You don't have to share anything you don't want
Okay,
to
so
share.
it was basically vengeful vandalism. It didn't hurt anybody, but I definitely did some damage with a girlfriend on a vehicle. So
enough.
and we didn't get caught, thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
And so those are the two things.
Okay.
But I'm not proud of it.
Hey, yeah. How old were you when you did that?
I would say high school,
Okay.
sometime in the late 60s. So
Yep.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It was, it doesn't feel good to admit that.
No, yeah.
It doesn't feel good at all to admit, especially to my kids, who you try to be an example for, and it's like, okay, y'all know where I am spiritually. And, you talk about being okay for me to bring my faith into things. And this is a place where I really did have to bring my faith into in later years to just, be
Get forgiven.
To be forgiven for it. And I never went back and tried to make a little bottle of thing. I think the store that I stole it from isn't even there anymore. So it's like you couldn't do anything. And but I definitely did feel very remorseful and very repentant of that.
Is at that time when you did those things, did you know right away that what you were doing was wrong?
I knew it was wrong.
And did you immediately feel regret or remorse or anything, or was it something that didn't
I felt
come
remorse,
until
but
later?
I didn't feel a godly remorse. I didn't feel like I was offending a holy God. I felt like it was against the law, and I could get caught and get in trouble.
Right.
So it was.
So it was
later
more
on.
of a fear of getting caught.
Yeah, back then
rather
it
than
was,
like a moral thing.
Right. And I knew it was wrong.
Right, sure.
I knew all along it was wrong when my mom was doing that. Even before any of that, I knew it was wrong for my stepdad to be taking the booking bets and all that, and it was dangerous. I mean, he would drive around on the weekends and have thousands of dollars that he's picking up on these bet things, and I mean, it was not good.
Yeah. Wow.
But anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
And I'm glad I'm forgiven of it because, and I thought about this whole, since you sent us the preliminary question things, I thought, I don't even want to talk about this, but we're human,
Yeah.
literally.
In more ways than one.
Yeah.
True.
You going
now?
next?
I'm anxious to hear you guys.
I don't have much.
I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised on this one because I don't have much either. I mean, you want me to go? Or
Yeah, go ahead.
I really don't. Unless I can think of something else, I've always been a bit of a rule follower.
Yeah.
And whether it's been for, not wanting to make my parents upset or just not wanting to deal with the repercussions of potentially getting caught or just wanting to feel some integrity in myself, I haven't done much. The first thing that always comes to my head if we talk about these sort of things, technically it's a crime because of what we did, but it's a pretty low level one that I don't think so. Probably the closest that we ever came, or I ever came to getting caught with doing anything stupid. When we were in high school, when I was in high school, me and a couple neighborhood friends, we got into a TPing and sort of house vandalism, nothing like serious, but a war with some other people in our friends group, right? Boys versus girls, basically. It was back and forth. And this must have been in July or late June, because in our neighborhood that we grew up in, they lined the street with thousands of small American flags, right up the boulevard, the main boulevard in our street or in our neighborhood. And we saw that and we go, perfect. There's our ammunition for our next mission, right? So we went and we picked up every
flag.
No, actually, I'm getting this story wrong. It just dawned on me. We were planning on going and removing every one of those flags. We put on all our black clothes and we got in the car. At least one of us was old enough to drive. You probably know who. If I wasn't, but he was.
Yeah, I
know who you're talking about.
Yeah. One of us was old enough to drive, and we went out to. We were like, tonight we're going to get all those flags, every one of them, and we're going to go put them in someone's
Yard.
yard.
Yeah.
We go out there. Every flag is gone.
What?
No.
Every flag is gone. And we're going, what? What in the world? And so we're driving up the street going, how is this possible? I kid you not. I'm not making this up. In someone's yard
Was all the flag.
was every single flag.
Somebody did
Someone
exactly
did the
what you were.
exact same thing that we were going to do. So we thought, well, that
Well,
makes it easier.
Now they're all in one place.
Now they're all in one place. So we pull up, and like 4 or 5 of us get out of the car, and we start handfuls of flags, and we're taking them, putting them in the trunk of the car, and handfuls of flags.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we see red and blue.
Oh, no.
No.
Yep. We turn around and we're like, oh no. Like
We're done.
we're all over this person's yard, and we
We didn't do
have
it.
handfuls of flags. And there's,
Stuck
you
right
know
in the
how,
middle of
you
it
know
all.
how police cars, they have those little spotlights on the
Yeah,
side?
yeah.
They're right on us. Well, here's the even funnier part of this story. This officer knows us
Oh no.
From school or
from
something?
church. So I don't know who he was, but somehow the other friends of ours knew his family. So they walk over to the car, and he gets out, and he's like,
Hey.
"What y'all doing?" And we told him we made a little lie, and we said, well, we saw all these flags in their yard, and we thought it'd be funny to not let whoever pranked them prank them. So we'd clean it all up for
You were
them.
going to go put them back.
We didn't. I don't think we said. We were going to put them back.
But you're gonna pull them all
But
out.
wouldn't
so
that
they
be
didn't have to-
funny if you did, though? Because
And then
the
the
person
police
that
officer's
did
like,
it...
"Go ahead."
Yeah.
Right. That would have been really funny. The person
Yeah.
who did the pranks, like,
Yeah.
did I get you? They're like, what?
What are you
What?
talking about?
But that's what happened, because this police officer let us finish cleaning these things. I kid you not. Now, what he hindsight, what he probably thought is we put it there. He knew we
Right.
were lying,
Right.
but he was going to sit there until we cleaned them all up.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that he knew that they were lining the street, because he didn't make us put them back. I think
So you just had thousands of flags?
we went and put them in someone's yard. I'm not joking. We went and TP'd the house and then covered the person's yard in flags. If you want to talk about us feeling invincible at that point,
Yes, no kidding.
we were like, we went from pooping ourselves to going, the cop basically let us pick the
Helped us.
That is
Yeah.
hilarious.
And so we went and did that. To go along with that, it dawned on me that there was another, probably more egregious crime, not awful because it is what it is, but we had access to so much toilet paper for TPing houses, because myself included and other people, like some other of our friends, we all worked at a grocery store.
oh no.
So we didn't just walk out with it. We didn't like steal it. Well, we stole it. Let me not kid you about it. We stole it, and we
Right.
knew but we justified it by feeling like we didn't outright steal it. We would take like 4 of these big 24 packs that were on sale, right? And we'd go through the line of someone that we worked with.
Oh, that's probably common in a
They
lot
would
of
only
places.
they would only ring up one of them. So cameras and registers and all that showed that we
Yep.
had a receipt. No one saw us sneaking out with a bunch of toilet paper. You know, we went through the register. He beeped it once, not 4 times, not 6 times. We paid for one, which was like at the time probably like $7. I don't remember. It was the cheap stuff. And we walked out with hundreds of rolls of toilet paper.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, it's
Jeffrey.
it's theft, but we were the best at toilet papering things because we always had so much of it.
I have a quick just caveat
Okay.
because I vividly remember.
I know what you're. I
know what you're gonna say,
what you're gonna
too.
say.
And here's the thing, that wasn't during the same time.
It had to have been
promise
your
you.
friends.
No.
I didn't have any friends that lived there.
This was I
They
know.
drove to
No,
our
they
house.
did
Okay, so
not,
everyone
Mom.
who's listening, or everyone who's listening that doesn't know what's going on in our heads right now, if you want to tell the story,
Sure, I mean,
go ahead.
I had a friend over that night, and somebody TP'd our house. I don't have friends. We didn't do that.
Yes, sir.
No, ma'am.
There was a whole bunch of TP going back and forth at that time, and it was your friends.
No, it was not. I've never TP'd a house in my life.
I have, but
I was saying, but
yeah.
Mom made me and Tiffany clean it up.
Yep.
And I, to this day, stand by the fact that that was not anybody that I knew.
I still think that it was maybe the wrong house or something like that.
Maybe.
Because this, I put this on everything, Lauren. This was not during the time because when I was doing that, it was older high school.
Right.
Like
Right.
you were already done.
Well, either way,
At
it
this
wasn't
time, were
my
you
friend.
in high school?
Yeah, because I had Tiffany.
But see, I can remember something was going on during that time where there was a lot of talk about so-and-so got TP'd and so-and-so got TP'd. And so then all of a sudden we were TP'd. And I thought, okay, Lauren.
Do you remember?
know,
Oh, sorry.
no, it's okay. I just thought for sure that was all connected.
I wasn't involved in any TPing. So if it wasn't anybody in my friends group,
Okay.
I don't know who it would have been. I
Okay.
didn't have very many
Thank you
friends.
for cleaning
I
it
went
up.
to a very
I
small high school.
I seem to remember too that it like rained or something.
Yeah, it did. It
and
was awful.
way harder to clean up.
Yeah, it was terrible.
When we did our like TPing adventures and things, this was when I was old enough to drive and I had already bought the van. Our first
yeah.
van. So
Gosh.
this was long after.
Yeah, way
like,
after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because we would drive the van, the van was a Chevy Delta. We called it the Brotherhood of the Delta.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really corny, but that's what we would. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did really gross stuff. Like we'd get like a Tupperware and fill it with like the nastiest stuff and dump it on people's.
Oh, Jeff.
Mom, these people's parents had to have been so mad. The stuff that we did. We would go behind like grocery stores where there was like stuff that was dumped out, and we would take like pallets and stuff and throw them in people's yards just to. I know.
We are so disappointed in you.
I know.
No, but I just,
You're wondering when I did this,
I
aren't you?
know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all water under the bridge.
Of all the things, by the time I'm 40 years old this year.
Yeah.
Of all the things, if that's the worst things
Right,
that I've
yeah.
done, I mean, because
Pretty tame, honestly.
I'm not one to put, there's one 30-cent part from the hardware store. I'm just gonna put it in my pocket. I don't do that. I go pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm not one to. I guess a crime, assault could be a crime. Have I gotten in fights before? Yeah, I've gotten in fights, but like
But
not
nothing
not like going and jumping some random person to it's always been something of a self-defense or
never went and bought illegal alcohol
no.
before you were old enough.
Well, I've never drank alcohol.
I know.
So I never
Yeah, so
did
you
any
never
of
had to do that.
No. Lauren, let's talk about what you've done wrong in your life.
I haven't done much wrong in my life. At least not that
Criminal.
criminal charges.
Right. Yeah, we've all done things wrong, but
Yeah. So the first thing that came to my mind was I did solicit someone to buy alcohol for me one time when I was too young. I'm sure it was
Who?
more than once.
who was it?
It was
I'm about to whoop.
it was a friend of mine from aesthetic schools, like cousin or something. I don't know.
Because when you went through aesthetic school, you weren't 21
19,
yet?
probably.
I was 19.
Oh,
I was.
okay.
I went right out of high school, so
Okay,
it was.
yeah.
I think I was 19.
Right.
I think you're 18 or 19.
Yeah. So, and that was only a 6-month program, so it wasn't like I was in school for ever.
Years, yeah.
But yeah, so I remember we had her buy us alcohol a couple times. It wasn't ever any. It was like wine
Wine
cooler.
coolers.
Seagram's.
Yeah, it was Zima
Seagram's
or
wine.
something.
Zima.
So that there was that. And then, I was trying to kind of scrounge for things because I wasn't sure. Well, and on the flip side, I did buy alcohol for minors a few times.
You're horrible.
Well,
You're a
I was-
horrible person.
My boyfriend at the time wasn't old enough to drink. So, yeah. When I turned 21,
yeah.
I was automatically the beer person.
yeah.
And majority of that time, I was pregnant. So there's that too. But, and then, and cigarettes too, because a lot of friends weren't old enough to buy cigarettes either. So there's that. That is the majority of my crimes. Other than that, I guess I technically did steal music online via like Napster
Guilty. I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah.
I didn't even think
it
about
wasn't
that.
Napster, but it was like,
Yeah,
ripping a.
the torrent. Kinda,
Yes, torrent, yeah.
like Pirate Bay
Yep.
stuff. Yeah, yes, I'm guilty of that. I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that. I've downloaded
I don't even know
movies
how
that
you would do that.
Oh, it's all online and
you can't do it
You
as
can't do it
easily
anymore.
But
you don't really need to do it anymore. You
No.
can just watch the video on.
Yeah.
yeah, early to mid 2000s, it was like you could get on there and basically find like
Entire
bootlegged
albums
Yeah.
versions of everything you'd want and then download it and
Yeah.
and burn it onto a CD.
and it gave your computer AIDS. I mean,
Oh
it's-
yeah,
it's-
for sure. It was terrible for
all
the computers.
of our laptops were
All of the big
burning.
box
Right.
computers. I had like an IBM or whatever.
yeah. I'm
So
guilty of that.
I
too.
did that, and I'm trying to think if there was anything else like.
It's kind.
What?
It's kind of. It reminds me of. You know how at the beginning of every VHS we ever watched, it says like FBI warning.
yeah.
If you pirate this, you will be.
Yeah, you'll be prosecuted.
At the full
Yeah.
extent of the law. Like,
Okay.
okay. I got some of those.
Yeah.
I knock on my door from the FBI.
The
Right.
FBI coming, hey, Jeff here.
That'd be pretty funny.
No, it wouldn't.
But it would be ironic because how would they know?
They won't.
They wouldn't.
Yeah.
Unless you were making a whole bunch of money off of it or
Yeah.
something.
Selling them and bragging about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, like,
Yeah.
I never
Thank
really, I never
goodness.
sold
I'm
drugs
really
or
glad.
anything like
It's just
that. Like,
Yeah, me
Pretty,
neither.
pretty.
I never shoplifted. I don't think I've ever shoplifted.
I hate the fact that I did that, but I
I,
did.
I think the closest I've ever come to shoplifting is noticing something still in my cart and not going back in there.
Yeah.
Just putting it in my
I
car
did that
and
one
being
time
like,
with a spool of thread.
Yeah.
I had a little spool of thread, and I thought, I was still looking around, and so I just stuck it in my pocket as I was doing it. And went out to the car, got home, and there it was. I went, oh, but I
Yeah.
didn't go back and pay for
There's
it.
been
Yeah.
there was one time that I was like shopping at Shopko or something, and I had stuff in my hands, and I decided to not
Leave.
and I walked out with it, but I definitely walked back in and was like, "Oh my gosh!" Because like one hazard protection coming after me.
Right.
We used to sneak kids in the trunk into the drive-in theater.
Oh yeah,
We could
See,
put 4 kids in
that's
the trunk.
fun though. That's
don't
that's
consider-
innovative.
That wasn't it. Well, everybody did it back then.
And those are the kind of things where I don't consider those.
That's not like a criminal offense.
Right.
That's
Like,
just
yeah,
sort of a
and you know when I
teenage
yeah.
I
fun
Shenanigans.
thing.
don't, I don't like, and it's sort of like the TPing of houses, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's annoying for the parents and the kids. Hopefully, had
Yeah.
to go up and clean it up, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't break anyone's windows. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
egg anyone's house. We didn't do anything that couldn't be cleaned up.
Yeah.
Right.
You
yeah.
know, so it wasn't
much a
true
prank.
vandal.
Yeah,
absolutely.
more like a prank.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, technically, could you call that trespassing and vandalism? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that would be the other crimes that I've committed would be trespassing. I've through walking around the neighborhood or
Yeah.
whatever, we've gone jumped fences and things like that, but not to go
Not
break
to-
anything or
yeah.
steal or loot
Yeah,
or anything.
right.
It's just, hey, let's go jump the fence. And
I
you
did.
know, it's
I did steal $1 from Kate one time.
our
From her-
cousin.
Yes,
Oh, that's messed up.
I know. I think I paid her back though.
Can't even believe
If
that you
not,
would do
Kate,
Come at
charge
me, bro.
interest.
This was at their old house too, not the one that we know of.
I feel like I'm gonna remember something after we do.
That's
but
kind of what I was thinking
have
too.
anything.
I mean, I've definitely lived in houses where there was way more drugs than there should have been.
Ugh.
I was privy to places where drugs were being harvested.
Oh, wow.
However,
I have been aware of crimes happening, and if it's a crime to not do anything, then
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that.
right.
You know, but
Well, I'm happy that there's nothing,
yeah, no,
more than the.
I did murder a guy.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But,
statute of limitations is over. It's fine.
right. I don't think it works like
Nope, it sure doesn't.
that. Anyway, anything else before we get on with it?
I don't think
I don't
so.
think so.
All right. Well,
I
you
don't
guys are
think
criminals, and
I know.
I just think
I've
so
been
much
a
less of both of you now.
bad girl.
Keep on going.
Yeah.
Don't think about doing anything in the future
Cue
either.
Fiona Apple.
Ugh.
Okay, so our listeners, I want to be careful with this one.
Yeah.
I don't need you to confess to your crimes, but if you have something funny, something little when you were younger, or something silly that could be considered a crime, we will not put your name if we read it on here. But
Oh, I just remembered something that was kind of funny. Sorry,
Okay,
but it's
yeah.
not a crime at all, but Mom will probably be mad.
I don't think I'm going to be mad at
Not
this
mad.
point.
No, probably not.
Kind of like the way I
But-
feel disappointed in Jeff doing that stuff I had
Yeah.
no idea about.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so
I kind of had
Disappointed in me?
figured that you were probably buying alcohol and cigarettes. I knew that already.
you're disappointed in me?
No.
Yeah, still.
Not now.
Okay.
I would have been back then, not now.
Yeah.
when I think you were gone, and Ben I think was staying with us,
Great.
and me and a friend somehow acquired some alcohol. We were not old enough to drink, but we had it at the house, and one of the bottle caps from the Zimas or whatever we were drinking got underneath the waterbed mattress and put a hole in it.
Oh my gosh.
no.
Are you
And so-
kidding?
So we walked to Walmart at like 3 o'clock in the morning
Okay.
You got a
and,
patch kit.
yes,
Oh
and
my
tried
gosh.
to patch it up.
While it was actively leaking, it doesn't work. No.
It does not work. So when you came home from Turkey or wherever you were, and and I had my whole bed taken apart. Do you remember that?
No, I don't even remember it.
That's why. Because there was a whole. I
that's
know
not
I
a
told. No,
criminal
it's not
thing.
crime.
That's not
That's
a
what I
crime.
said.
Driving
It wasn't.
while
Yeah, it's not a
intoxicated in a minor in a
I
mi-
walked.
You didn't walk.
Did you drive?
Yes.
Would you drive my car?
No, my car.
Oh. But you were drunk.
I mean, I had
What
a
was
Zima
wrong
or
with
two.
driving?
Huh?
Then why are you acting like it was something wrong that you
Because
were
I,
driving?
I
She was
definitely
under
Because you
the
wasn't.
had been
influence.
drinking.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I wasn't drunk.
Minor in possession and driving under the influence.
a little
not
impaired.
criminal.
No, I didn't say that it wasn't criminal. I just said I wasn't drunk.
So where was Ben when this all happened?
Sleeping.
It was 3 a.m.
This is back in the good old days when Walmart was open 24 hours a day.
Yeah. I think some of them still are, right? Anyway, it doesn't
I
matter.
don't know.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
Well,
Okay.
listeners, let us know. You can find us at our email address, or you can contact us, I should say, at our email address. And that email address is...
My mama done told me podcast at gmail.com.
We also have some social media.
Social meets.
Social media. Our...
I don't want to see it. 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 I don't want to be
It's the worst.
I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay.
Mom, where do they find our social medias?
Shoy notes.
You
If I
can
think
say.
about it,
You said
Shoy
it last
notes.
that.
Okay,
Shoy
thank
notes.
you. I was going to say, we're
The
not turning this
shoy
off until you get it right.
Shoy notes. Shoy notes.
Wow. In surround sound.
Let's harmonize. I'll go low, you go mid, you go high, all right?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Joy noise.
All right, that was pretty good.
I mean,
Oh, it's probably something.
joy noise. It's so stupid.
We hope you keep your minds open and be kind to each other. This is My Mama Done Told Me, and we are done. for
Signing
tonight.
off.
Done.
Thanks for coming. Done.
Done. Done. Done.
Done.
Ew.
Oh,
Jeff.
why?
Join me.
I'm not doing it.
Come on, Ma.
I'm not doing it.
Come on, Mother.
I'm not doing it. I am not doing it.
Join us. Join us. Join us.
You guys are going to be sore tomorrow.
My abs are gonna hurt
I know,
tomorrow.
if we did that all the time, we'd be in better shape.
Yeah, we would. Jeez.
All right. Love you. Bye.
I love you.
Bye.
Bye.